Hey everybody, this is DM Mike, and today I want to do just a real quick brief video about radio dramas and cutscenes. These are things I kind of introduced to my campaigns. Almost every single session has some kind of cutscene or radio drama attached to it, and I wanted to give you a sample. I feel like I've talked about this before. Locally here, I was on the radio a couple years ago and talking about literally Dungeons and Dragons and just how I approach my sessions. And I think one thing that's kind of, in a way, this is not to be braggadocious at all, that sets me apart is my use of music and cutscenes and this idea of radio drama. And of course, I'm no Mel Blanc or Frank Welker or Matt Mercer, but I do the best I can. So today I wanted to give a quick sample of the next upcoming radio drama slash cutscene that just, it's there to open the sessions. It's not something that plays continuously or like I've got 9 of them in a single session. No, it's usually 1 or 2 at the most. So I wanted to give a quick sample. Now, it's audio only, so I'm going to have to put in some video stuff in there. And then I'll explain a little bit afterwards of why I did this cutscene and, you know, what's it foreshadowing, what's it talking about, and and how it relates to the situation now. If you are a player in my campaign, you need to not watch this. Just kill it now, because otherwise you're going to ruin your own experience like in about 48 hours. So anyway, let me go ahead and cut to the actual audio file. We'll listen to it. I'll put some images up, and then we'll come back. All right, let's do this. The beast of ancient times soars with the brilliance of 1,000 stars reflecting from its armored scales within a raging tempest. The sinister reptilian eyes hunt the black landscape in search of opportunities. A long battle below, culminating in what certainly looks like a victory to the old worm. Suddenly, the ancient titan's thoughts are interrupted as a voice emerges within his mind from a presence far away.
There is a disturbance at the south end near the old sanctuary. It demands your attention.
It is no concern of mine. Send the mercenary scout if you wish. I am not your scout.
This is not a matter of destruction. A simple threat has arisen. Your presence should quell the situation.
Watch your tone, wizard. Your icy abode will not keep you safe from the flames of Lennithons. I will do as you request. The finality of this miserable assault is at hand. The heat will burn in a deluge of embers, and you will have your treasure.
We are forever in your debt, great one.
The ethereal contact ends, and the beast immediately breaks through the cloud barrier, spiraling down upon the smoldering town towards the sanctuary. Elsewhere on the battlefield, a dragonborn fighter pulls his sword in the throat of a fallen soldier and scans the field. His thoughts are suddenly distracted by the distant contact of the wizard's voice.
You have trouble. The sanctuary is taking longer to assail than we hoped. I have sent Lennithons to handle the situation.
Then what is the problem?
His interest in the campaign is waning. I doubt the pact we incurred will hold much longer. The situation may get out of hand.
The dragonborn kills another soldier after a quick exchange of swordplay. The infantryman's body crumples to the mud, oozing from deep lacerations.
We will do as he's told for now. Be ready to push the storm further east for our departure. We are nearly finished, and I have one last task ahead of me.
Very well.
The contact is broken, and the spell fades. The fighter yells out a command, and a large group of kobolds shifts in his direction. In the distance, the first light of dawn slowly emerges, piercing the black sky. All right, people, there you have it. It's one of my cutscenes. It's kind of a sample. I think at this point I've done maybe 25 to 30 of those things in all my campaigns, and my one-shots. They're all varied, and I know it's kind of hard to listen to that kind of stuff because it's out of context. You don't know what it is, and it's just kind of random. I think also kind of playing it on YouTube is a little different than just playing it on my stereo with all my players. but I think you get the general idea. These are the radio drama cutscene approaches I use in all my games. Most likely, just about all my games start with something like that. And most of these are not just done, they're not done in advance, unless, you know, we're starting fresh and I'm putting things together to kind of introduce the campaign. That I will do. That'll be prepared far in advance. But most of the cutscenes are done as a reaction to what the players are doing. All right, and that's what this cutscene was about. It was a reaction to what the players were doing. If you watch the campaign diary #1, the only one I have right now, you'll see the situation the characters are in. They're kind of stuck at the sanctuary. They're outnumbered. They got so much stuff going on. And of course, the dragon is working his way in. I made this cutscene because of that situation. When I think about Greenest and the enemy, I think there's 3 locations within that town, city, I'm not sure, within that town that the enemy most likely would need to get into, would want to hit. First of all, the keep. Now, they know they can't get in the keep. They're not there with siege weapons or anything like that, right? So they're just kind of surrounding it, keeping it busy. So the keep's kind of out of the question, even though they do try to get into Sallyport. But the keep, unlikely, right? 2, probably the mayor's house. He's probably got some, you know, a little bit of dough compared to everybody else. But I also think one of the most important spots most likely will be the sanctuary. The sanctuary has probably art. It probably has tie that can be seen as copper, gold, silver, maybe even jewels that people have brought to the sanctuary, as well as relics. So it's kind of a strategic and important location on the map, and this is where the enemy wants to hit. So it's important. They want to be there and they want to get in. So my characters right now are kind of overwhelmed. I think it's something they can survive, but they're overwhelmed. So that's why I have the dragon. And in my campaign, the dragon's kind of moving around the board, and he just happened to be at the sanctuary. But they've called in the dragon to kind of look out and kind of get an idea of what's going on in that situation. Now, if you look in the book, at the beginning, the chapter 1, it does talk about how the dragon, Lennithon, really not interested in taking part of anything. Like, he's just kind of there reluctantly. He doesn't want to get too involved, especially if there's a really great set of or pair or group of adventurers down there that are really causing trouble, right? Yes, he probably could take them, but why bother, right? You know, why go through all that? You know, especially he might take a wound. So in the cutscene, I kind of set up a little bit of that tension. I do a lot of dropping of hints and foreshadowing in the cutscene. So for instance, it talks about Lennithon is like, hey, Wrath, watch your tone around me. You know, that icy fortress of yours is not going to save you. Well, that's referring to foreshadowing the things that happen in chapter 8 with the kind of that ice castle the giant has. Now, the characters don't know that, of course, but I'm just dropping hints and foreshadowing and getting those things kind of out there and showing some of the tension between the enemies. And one of the reasons why I use Rath Modar, I think that's how you say it. He sounds like a dark Jedi. One of the reasons I use him is because, frankly, can't do a woman's voice. I can't. I practice, but I'm just not very good at it. I'm better with nail polish. But anyway, the book talks about, I think this is her name, Frulam Mondath, which sounds like, again, like a Star Wars character to me. It talks about in the book how she actually calls the dragon down, not to attack the sanctuary, but actually the keep, which is still going to happen, by the way. But, you know, in my mind, I was like, look, I can't do a woman's voice, so I'm going to use Rath Modar, who I've kind of envisioned as watching the events. He's not really, and he created the storm to kind of create cover for them. And but he's not there, of course. He's just kind of watching over things, and he kind of saw an issue and a problem with the sanctuary. So anyway, that's a brief synopsis of my thinking when I put the cutscene together. And I think verisimilitude is something I really focus on with my games, and I think the radio dramas and the ambient effects I bring to the table, which are just they're environmental sounds. I play in a movie room. I got 7.1 surround sound, so it feels good when you're in there, like you're just kind of surrounded by everything. And I have like about 25 environments, something like that. I mean, just a buttload of them. And they can sound like they're in a forest, sound like they're in a forest at night. They can sound like they're in a military camp. They can sound like they're in a war zone, which I put together for Chapter 1 of Greenest. I just got a whole bunch of them, and I love that. Sound to me and music really enhance the experience of Dungeons and Dragons, I feel. And I think radio dramas are just like a step up, you know, just to really kind of bring people in to the adventure. So those kinds of things are really important to me. I love verisimilitude. you know, there's only so much you can do, right? You know, to bring kind of a sense of realism to your games, but I like to focus on it as much as possible. And I love doing the radio dramas because they have everything. They have the ambient effects, they have the voice work, they have the music, they build up the tension, they can start off your session with a bang, and they're just a lot of fun. So I do have a SoundCloud. I think I'll put that in the description there if you want to listen to them. Now, I think it's kind of weird to listen to some of these because of the fact that it's out of context. It might seem weird, but there's a playlist that's actually dedicated to Hoard of the Dragon Queen. And then I have a playlist dedicated to all my other one-shots that I've done. And again, they might sound strange because you didn't play the adventure, right? So it's like, well, what is this? But trust me, I think in the adventure they sounded great, if I may say so. But anyway, I'm going to continue to update those playlists. So everything I do in the game, I'll talk about in the campaign diary, which will be probably this weekend because we're going to play tomorrow night. And then I will upload as much as I can to SoundCloud. I think you're pretty limited on SoundCloud if you don't have a pro membership or something like that. So eventually I will run out of space. But anyway, I think in the next videos I want to talk about music. Eventually, I mean, not the next video, but we'll get there. I want to talk about music and I think how you can use it effectively in your games, or just a different approach that I've been using since the 1980s. Wow, I'm old. But it's been very effective, very, very effective. And also I want to get into just how to create these cutscenes. What am I using? What am I doing? Those kinds of things. You know, like what mic am I using? This is kind of actually an old mic, and so far it works great. It's been working great for years. So we'll get into that. I think those are things I can offer to the D&D community. My take on verisimilitude and how I approach certain things. So the next video most likely will be a campaign diary, maybe another art video, and then we'll start getting into just the how to create this stuff, how to put it together. And, you know, of course, campaign diaries will continue, keep going until I guess we're done with the first book. So I think that's about it. I think that's all I got today, at least. Hopefully this was beneficial to you. Just a quick sneak peek of things that were going on. I might continue to put up some more samples on YouTube with some, you know, crude imagery, since you have to have video going, so you can listen to it. Otherwise, though, they're usually on the SoundCloud like that day or the next day after the campaign. So just a side note. Anyway, guys, I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get off here before my Camtasia crashes again and I've lost all this information. Yeah, I think the next one will be a campaign diary, which will be this weekend, right? So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I need to find a better way of ending videos because I'm now getting tongue-tied. Let's do an edit there. I think that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is like my 9th take on this video, so see you in the next video.